I'm down here at the lake, so I apologize if anybody could not hear me on any of that. I'm going to make this short and sweet. Today was quite a day. I tried to do a skit. Don't know if it even took, but maybe y'all got a laugh, maybe you didn't. I don't know. I mean, all I know is I'm down here on the lake, and people were saying uh, that they couldn't hear me or something went out. So I apologize, y'all. Maybe it will show up. It was a skit, but really, it's just a way to decompress. All right, it's a way to decompress from today. There's a lot of people that watched all this whole thing today. The opening statements, a few of the witnesses. I was very honored to spend time on Crescia K. Easton, a difficult research. Again, I tried to do a skit. Some people said that they couldn't see it or whatever, so it is what it is. Hi, Tina. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Harley. Hi, Vix Tex. Hi, Edie Ruth, Vicky Carpenter, Lena Howery. Y'all, I tried to do one. Did anyone get to see the skit at all? I'm just curious. Because I just smeared banana all over me and had crooked eyebrows and the Lori wig and the red glasses and the whole 9 yards. I hope. Well, good. Grandma Snark said that they saw it. Saw a bit of it, says Vic Stex. No, it was buffering, says Lena. I apologize, y'all. I'm down here at the lake. My birthday's tomorrow. We stay a week every month from spring to the end of summer. Usually don't have this problem. If you hear buffering now or something goes wrong, please put it in the comments. Harley 62, I don't know if I could do that again. But I do want to talk to y'all seriously. The reason I did the skit was because I feel like a little laughter helps you decompress from such serious shit. Okay? That's my intention, to help others decompress if they want to get a laugh or whatever. There's nothing funny about what happened. What is funny is the fact that this hooker thinks that she's, gonna represent herself, and today she got blown out of the water a lot. Well, you can, Hot Cheetos. You can decompress with me, yeah. Edie Ruth's birthday is Thursday. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it. Now, y'all, I wrote some notes today. Y'all have seen it. Most of y'all have seen opening statements and a few of the witnesses and all of that, okay? So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. What I am going to bring out, and a lot of it I brought out on difficult research. If you were there, I apologize that I am going to repeat this for people that didn't go to difficult research. But I will say this. If you are going to watch this trial, please do it on a victim's family member's YouTube channel. And that's Crescia K. Easton of Difficult Research. We should be there to support her. And I hope that most of y'all, if not all of y'all, will like her. If you wasn't able to be on there today, go and watch it. There was a lot that was said today from Donna. Crescia came on at one point. I tried to put my 2 cents worth in, but y'all know I blow my stack all the time. But I did write some notes and some things that really jumped out to me. And, some of y'all on that was on difficult research helped point those things out as well. So it wasn't just all coming from me. I did listen to everyone on the comment section. Well, thank you, Shima. I appreciate that. I was glad to see you there. Thank you, Lena. Thank you so much. Oh, CSI's here. Beach Lady and any of the other mods, there are at least one person on here that wants to talk shit I know who's usually on here and who isn't. And if you could please just delete them, I would appreciate it. If there isn't a mod on here, just ignore it. I'll try to. Sugarbutt Starburst says, I learned a lot of new facts that I never knew. Put them in the comments, Sugarbutt. We all want to hear it. Thank you so much for anyone that's modding on here. I really appreciate it. Well, hi, MM. How are you? A lot of good comments came from you today, as a matter of fact. So anyway, I'm going to kind of go over these with y'all very quickly. Maybe that skit, I'm going to go and look at it and see. I mean, I don't know how it didn't take. Nothing was buffering on my side. Everything was fine. So I don't know if it might be from y'all's side of things. But you can go, I've gotten off of that stream. It should be there for you to look at. MM says, I love Charles. Thanks, KJ. NF Mom says, I heard new stuff. I hate that the family had to hear it all again. Right. Jill Schneider says, I didn't know about Nancy Joe. Not sure how I missed it, but that was new to me. Yeah, I didn't know who that was. When we had gone over the witness list, the civilian aspect of the state's witnesses, I was asking everyone on KJ and the Ray, I was like, who is this Hancock woman? And they had to tell me. So it's not that, even though a lot of us have followed this case and everything, sometimes we miss stuff. And so it's good when we can help each other out in the community to get caught up. Something about blood on the bat, I never knew that before. I thought there wasn't any blood on the bat, Sugarbutt. Or maybe that's what you're saying. I didn't know about Charles being left-handed, said Rhonda. And neither did I. Kresha, she was like, she was going to go into her photo albums of her Uncle Charles. And she was going to see. Because Lori, we all know, technically speaking, that opening statements are not evidence. So Lori got up there and said, the evidence is going to prove this. The evidence is going to prove that and all that. Now, there were some things she's going to, like she says, the evidence is going to prove that I was married for 13 years. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's going to come out somehow, some way. I mean, even the state in their opening talked about it. But that's not evidence. So for everything she said she was going to have evidence for, she absolutely went down a laundry list of things that she wanted the jury to know that I don't think she herself can come up with the evidence. And she doesn't have any witnesses that I know of that have been properly, subpoenaed. So I don't know how she thinks this evidence is going to come out. Yes, Shemal says Trina K didn't mention the pool party, wish she had of, and I'd made the statement that maybe it will come out, or maybe they didn't feel like that was really necessary to bring that up. I mean, one's got to ask the question, why wasn't Kobe Ryan on the list? Or, it's one thing to say Zulema and Melanie Gibb and David Warwick and people like that, but, there were other people that could have come in, and the state did say in their opening that a lot of people knew about Lori's crazy ass beliefs. Hey, Donna, you did excellent today. Kresha did great. I'm telling y'all what, you need to go to difficult research to catch the trial. Not only are you going to get the trial at the same time as anyone else would on YouTube or any other social media platform, but you also have Trace on the case, who is actually in the courtroom, and Donna is relaying that information before we get to hear because of the 30-minute delay. And then Donna also puts in the tweets of Nate and Justin. So you're getting 3 different people that are there that she's able to put in the comments even before. And so with that knowledge, once they start that trial aspect, the 30-minute delay, you already kind of got the tips there. You got the points. MM says, that was so cool. We were spoiled. So anyway, this whole thing that nobody really, I mean, who wants to talk about it? But it is evidence, and these are things that I wrote down. I knew that Charles Vallow had been shot twice. I just didn't know exactly how. I mean, I knew he got shot up front, but I didn't really know. First of all, I didn't know he got shot in the heart. And isn't that just like that evil, diabolical wench and her screwed up brother to do that? And then turn around and shoot him again. He was shot center mass into his heart. It went out his back. I gotta say it, y'all. It's evidence. I don't want to, but it has to be said. Then he was shot in the stomach, and the trajectory was upward. In other words, he was laying down flat on his back, and it went from his stomach through his shoulder out the back. And I learned a term today called shored, a shored injury, S-H-O-R-E-D. That means that when the bullet, it hits up against something hard, i.e. the wooden floor, and they found the indentation in the floor. That was something I didn't know. And I didn't know, y'all, and this just broke my heart, that Charles grabbed with his dominant left hand when he got shot in the chest. And y'all, I'm assuming the way that Trina K had talked about it, that it's going to show the blood coming down his hand, proving that he went like this. And that's important. It's not important for sensationalism or anything like that. It's proven a forensic point. It's proven that he was alive and holding that. And you have to ask yourself, Alex saw that. Lori, I believe Lori saw him do that. Then when he fell back and hit the floor, Alex shot him again. Now, this is interesting. Another thing, there was no blood on Alex's gun. And to me, y'all watched enough of criminal stuff, and so have I, that there would be blowback if they were right, if he was right there. And he didn't have time to clean that gun, because that blowback would go into the barrel 9 times out of 10, or in places he can't clean that gun. There was no blood on that gun. So that tells me that he did this from a distance. He shot Charles the first time from the distance, and then he was laying on the floor. He probably stood where he was standing, Alex, and shot him again. And the trajectory of it going in his belly, up through his shoulder, making the indentation from that short injury on the wood floor. So that is important. Another thing I didn't know, first of all, I didn't know that Charles was left-handed, but the bat was on the wrong side if he would have been holding that bat, okay? It was on the wrong side of him. It was on the wrong side, in other words, the right side. Now, Lori tried to bring up in her opening statement that Charles was a right-handed hitter. How is she going to prove that? Because the judge is going to give an instruction that opening statements are not evidence. So she better, I don't know how she's going to prove that point. And I hope the state of Arizona has something to counter that. There was no blood of Alex's on the floor anywhere. Lori wanted to bring it up with one of the witnesses today about how long was he bleeding. And, you know, and she at least got the guy to say it was bleeding. But it couldn't have been bleeding that bad, because there wasn't a single drop of blood on the floor anywhere in that house. And if you want to take that damn asshole's word for it, that he went back in his room to get the gun, or even afterwards when he tells them that he put the gun back in the room, you know what I'm saying? You would have seen at least a drop of blood. You would have seen paper towels in the trash can or at the kitchen sink where he washed his hands. He staged the scene, y'all. He staged the scene. That's what he did. Another thing, I brought it up on Crush's difficult research, was the sunglasses on the head. Krisha had brought that back years ago. She had brought that up. I mean, how can you get in a struggle with somebody and get hit on the back of the head with a bat? And really, say for instance, someone would say, well, maybe those sunglasses are the type that really stick to your head and they just stayed there. I mean, really, y'all. Or he put them on afterwards. Who in the hell is going to put sunglasses on after murdering somebody or shooting someone? That's common sense that he wouldn't even thought to put his sunglasses on. NF Mom says a head wound usually bleeds a lot, even if they're not that bad. Another thing, y'all. Just to reiterate this, the trajectory of the bullets. This is Lori does not want this guy who was a detective, but the state is wanting him as a firearms expert, and I believe he'll be shown to be one and he'll be able to testify as an expert. The trajectory of the bullets. The first shot, Trina K, this is from Trina, slightly downward, ended up in the baseboard. Second shot, 13 inches upward, short wound, and a defect in the wound showed this, and they'll have a medical examiner talking about that. Also, maybe I just missed it or forgot, y'all. It's been 5 years, but Lori's text to Alex 2 days before the death. Did she bring up anything about Nephi in her opening statement? Did she bring up anything about her stupid ass religious beliefs? I don't think so. She didn't. She went down a list of the evidence is going to prove this. The evidence is going to prove that. The evidence is going to prove this. And then she faked some damn crocodile tears by thinking about the fact that she's never going to have the big kielbasa sausage again. She's going to be stuck in a freaking Pocatello women's prison doing all kinds of hair, if you know what I mean. Hair pie, the 9 yards. And I said it today on Difficult Research. In Idaho, they talked about money, power, and sex. Well, in this one, I believe throughout the whole opening statement of Trina K, they're going to be like Nephi. They're going to be like Nephi. That was, to me, the theme of it all. Be the Nephi for what? An accident that just so happened to happen? It was self-defense. What, Nephi, Trina K explained it. Nephi had to kill somebody because God said it was okay to do it. Y'all, these people and their freaking religious beliefs, they want to cross over to the line of criminality. They need their ass nailed to the wall. Pure and simple. I don't give a shit what you believe. But when you hurt other people, murder other people, I don't give a rat's ass. Lori, in her opening statement, wants to kind of, I don't know if you want to call it, she wants to kind of be like, well, there was $1 million policy on Charles, but I had a $2 million, kind of trying to exit out that whole point, that whole issue. The state of Arizona says that Serena Sharp in March of 2019, Lori was talking about Charles being possessed with Ned and how they did a casting and all this stupid stuff. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting when Lori gets a hold of her. I guarantee you that. Lori ain't got nothing to lose, y'all. Nothing at all. Christina Atwood. Alex wanted to kill Charles. Said that too. She heard Alex say that twice. And Lori's innocent. She's the only one being charged. That's what she said in her opening statement before Trina K objected to it. Who gives a crap? Alex is dead, right? So it's okay if it was all Alex. As long as Alex is the one talking about killing Charles, Lori's okay with it, right? And then, of course, Lori drugging Charles. And, hopefully we'll get an answer why Christina Atwood didn't go to police. She, instead of, you better not do that again, Lori. If something happens to Charles, I'm going to police. Give me a break. Give me a break. Confronting Lori. Right. Yeah. Another thing was when Trina talked about Charles. I feel like I'm a little like a broken record, but I'm doing this to keep a record and for people that didn't get to watch the trial today or go to difficult research. So for some of y'all, I apologize that I've said this before, but I need to put it on the record. That Charles JJ was everything to Charles. And that, my friends, just, it hurt me so bad. It hurt me. It hurt me to hear that. I wish they would have brought out more about Charles. Maybe they'll do it in closing arguments. Maybe the state will be able to talk to Kay Woodcock and talk about how wonderful Charles was and their relationship. Maybe that will all come out. This trial should be about justice for Charles, but it should also be a trial where people, whoever's listening, will know what was lost in this world because this evil, diabolical hooker. Trina K told a lot of people, said that there are a lot of people that knew about Lori's crazy beliefs, and yet they've got a short list of civilians that are going to be testifying. So how will Trina K prove that if a lot of people heard about these crazy beliefs? I guess every damn one of them. Because she also said that Adam Cox, Lori's brother, is going to talk about how Charles reached out to him. That Adam knew that Lori was talking this stuff about being a translated being. That she was not following the LDS faith. Well, folks, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I am. Somewhere in there in the Book of Mormon, they're talking about all that. So why, to say that she wasn't following the LDS faith, obviously, in terms of murdering, that would not be. But what I'm saying is she got these ideas. She didn't get these ideas from the Holy Bible. She got it from the Book of Mormon. Just like she did when she was at Melanie Gibbs' in-home meeting. If he does it to you once, he does it to you twice, you can murder him. You know what I'm saying? So Trina K also talked about what we all know is going to happen, and that is the cell phone data, the iCloud account. All that's going to be laid bare. We've already seen some of the body cams that have already been played today. The intervention, the fact that Charles and supposedly Adam, but specifically Charles, was going to try to get a hold of Lori's stake president, and Lori did not want to lose her temple recommend. What do you think, y'all? Do you think that Lori wanted to murder Charles for his money, so she wouldn't lose her temple recommend, or the fact that Chad was breathing down her throat about the fact that Charles was trying to get a hold of Tammy to talk about how they were having an affair? And by the way, in Lori's opening statement, did she say one word about her husband Chad, about her infidelity? No. She left all that conveniently out. Anything that made her look guilty as hell, she left out. Pure and simple. Lori texted Chad that morning. Why didn't she, in her opening statement, explain why she was talking to Chad and saying these things to Chad Daybell? Does she have some kind of a response to that? If she don't go on the stand, how can she get her point across with other witnesses? Alex is dead. Christina Atwood and Serena Sharp ain't going to be able to Lori ain't going to be able to ask them questions that's going to prove the point that, what? That it was all innocent what she was saying to Chad Daybell? Give me a break. Isabella Marie says, wasn't Lori and Chad going to build a church? Good point, Isabella. Lori has, remade herself. She hasn't left this life yet for the next one. First, she wants to tell everyone she was a warrior beyond the millennia, that God sent her down here. Of course, obviously, we know what she did. She murdered everyone. Now she wasn't supposed to do any of that, get rid of zombies or be the queen of the 144,000. The end of the world was going to be in 2020. It's now I'm supposed to minister to these women in jails and prisons. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to be their voice. I'm going to help these women. She can't decide what it was that her God, and I don't even want to point up, because you know what? She invited the demon in, and by God, it don't make a damn bit of difference what she says. She changes her mind about this and that, about what she's here for. Nobody gives a rat's ass what this woman is here for, because all she ever proved is she's a serial killer. Even before that. You know what? You have a purpose in life. Go for it. Go for it. But don't hurt people. Don't use people. Don't murder people. She can't decide what it is she's going to do. Kobe said they need to get the woman away from her. Get the woman away from... Nina, Jasmine, I haven't heard Kobe's comments lately. But, just as Donna on Difficult Research says, there are going to be women that are going to, no matter what Lori says, while they're in prison, Lori could tell them anything, and there'll be women that will believe that. But make no mistake, if Lori tries to manipulate her narcissism and her demon possession, of course I believe in demon possession, these other women, and try to use these other women for her own pleasure and benefit, there's going to be another woman out there that's not going to want Lori messing with her woman, or being around the women that, whoever this other woman is, who's the top dog. Lori will never be the top dog. Lori's going to end up being a submissive. Lori's going to have to do what Lori does. She's going to have to talk in her little sweet voice. She's going to have to go, okay, just like she did today. Every time she was done with her cross-examinations and stuff, she would say stuff like, what is it? She'd say, okay, that's nice, thank you. She'd say it like she was a schoolgirl, pretty much. And the way she spoke today, she shows me no signs of the seriousness of any of this. What I do sense from Lori is she wants everyone to see her demonstrating her being able to represent herself over the content of that representation. She just wants to be able to get in there and show everyone that she can do it. And, just as I predicted, there were more objections from the state than from her. In fact, she got shot down every time she objected. I think one time that the judge did say, I'll let the answer stand, but you got to stick to the questions. But the state got their way every time. Sustained, sustained, sustained. Nina Jasmine says she thinks her side, she's smarter on truth, and truth is on her side. Oh, she knows the truth. She knows she's an evil, diabolical hussy. She knows that. VixTech says, I'd love to see how many moms that Tylee have. Oh, here's Cresha. It was shared by Christina Atwood in her audio interview with police. I think may republish it so everyone can find it easier. Y'all listen. Cresha's got a full catalog of anything and everything about this case. You'd be shocked of all the stuff that Cresha's got on her channel. It's awesome. It's absolutely incredible. And Rita Lou says, thanks to the mods for doing a good job. Thank y'all. I did Crescia, I think. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I see that. Oh, okay. All right. But Susan Honecker says she changes for whatever circumstances to get her way. She has no morals. Well, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying, Susan. Absolutely. It was about Tylee's friends saying Lori had to fix everyone. Okay. Hi, Vicky McNutt. Yeah, Nina Jasmine. I noticed today when the state called their witnesses, the first ones, the law enforcement and the EMT and all that, Lori's trying to testify. She's trying to get her story out without having to testify. And the only criticism I have is Trina K absolutely has to jump on that quicker. Because once it's out Lori's mouth, not that the jurors are just going to embrace Lori and think Lori's telling the truth, but it's out there. And Lori keeps trying to testify, and this judge keeps saying to her, only ask questions. Only ask questions. Mary said, I felt like I was in a high school mock trial, totally pitiful. CSI Crowdsource Illumination said it made me so happy when she kept getting objections. Yeah, we knew it was going to happen, y'all. Crescia says, I'm elated because Larry called me this evening and inquired about my research into Mormonism. I'm like over the moon right now. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome, Crescia. I know how much that means to you. And it means a lot to a lot of people. You've opened a lot of people's eyes, and that is so much of a blessing. I honestly, that's probably the best comment I've heard in the last couple of years. Beach Lady, Lori doesn't have anything to lose. So Lori, of course Lori doesn't want to be cross-examined, but this is it for her. This is her last hoorah. Just like her last Friday's released second interview with this Arizona True Crime. She's trying to get as much as she can because in the state prisons in Idaho, they don't allow sit-down interviews. And she's trying to get what she can get. She wants to get that limelight. And we still have people in here that want to come in here for no other reason because they don't have better things to do but say negative stuff. You know, when they put that stuff in the comments, that's coming out of them. That's what they're about. Okay? That's what they're about, to say mean, nasty things. So whenever you see someone do a mean, nasty comment that doesn't belong here in the first place, just know that these people really have problems with themselves. NF Mom says this is the last thing Lori will ever have any control over. And that's just it, NF Mom. She only has limited control because of criminal procedure and because of the rules of evidence and stuff of that sort. Yeah, well, Crescia, I know you know as well as I do that anything that anyone could say about me or anyone else, they're going to say it. They've got to. CSI, I apologize that you had to have a block list of the last 10 minutes. And some of these comments on here have nothing to do with what we're talking about. But they want to talk about it, let them. Yes, Pamela. And, I tried to bring out my skit. I don't know if it showed up, y'all. There was some that was buffered. Somehow she was able to get... I'm thinking that she actually got her hair done before the Keith Morris interview. Because her hair did look blonder after that. And so Right, Kresha. It is. It's a projection of their own insecurities. Nina Jasmine, I'm glad you got to see it. I always try to do something to, I don't know, vent out. It's almost like, I don't know, an empath type of scenario where you just want to filter out negativity and all that. Mary says she's trying so hard to be relevant and to look important, she doesn't know what a moron she looks like. I don't recall the exact wording, but does anyone remember Lori or Chad saying that if you imagine something, it makes it true? Yes, Bonnie Shaw. Remember? What is it? The paperwork there that, who was it that had it? It was Brandon, I think, that had it where they were listing out stuff like, you know, these vibes and all of this stuff. Y'all remember we talked about it several years ago. Dungeons and Dragons and all that. It was Ian Pulowski talked about this weird stuff, right? And he even showed on a list of how they, the sexual vibration and all this stupid. The more sex you have, the more of a god you are. Give me a break. Krisha, the reason that my channel is so targeted is because YouTube decided that they were going to, I guess, I don't know why. This channel doesn't monetize. This channel is just a little bitty sliver. And I don't understand it. There was a time when the Rays and I were able to come on here and it was just us. And it wasn't set for private or nothing. And it just seems, there was a time there I was like, man, this ain't worth it. But then I got a thick skin about it and decided I'd keep going. Rachel Black says, Mormons teach if you think about a sin, it is the same as doing it. I think that is the same line of thinking. Huh. Well, I'll tell you, Rachel Black, my faith says that if you look upon another with desire and passion, sexual feelings, like you get horny or whatever, then that's a sin. So, I mean, that's holy scripture. If you look upon another and lust after them, you might as well be doing it. And so that's what I believe. I don't think I do a very good job, Kresha. A lot of times people on here is like, KJ, don't do it. KJ, don't do it. Just ignore them. Well, Pamela, mostly opinion, but I try, to, even in my skits, I try to put relevant information in it while people are laughing and thinking of me as such an idiot, that there are some facts in that people can get a hold of. Thank you, Beach Lady. Vertical format gets more trolls than the original horizontal. Well, MK, when I started this channel, I decided to do it this way, and I've kept it this way throughout. Let me just be clear. I got enough money. I could build. My husband could build me a studio. I don't want that. What I want to do is get a little justice through understanding, and I want to be there for Kresha, her family. I want to, have this community for a length of time, see how it goes, continue to do what I can do until it's over. And it will be over eventually, but it'll never be over in support of Kresha K. Easton of Difficult Research, ever. I'll always be there. Always. Liam Forsberg says it quite clearly. Justice through understanding. And that means whatever it means to you. If it doesn't mean nothing to you, that's fine too. Yes, Isabella. That's sweet. Vix Tex. That's right. Thank you so much, Tina. You know, I'm just an old country girl, and I've been around for about 5 years now. I've met some incredible people. I've got to really form some true friendships, sincere friendships. This world inside of a world does not always have to have some kind of ulterior motive or agenda. Truth has no agenda. Truth is just truth. And, you know, people can get semantic about it and say your truth might not be my truth. Well, you know, that's fair. But I'm just going to go with whatever I go with. Yeah, you're right, Kresha. There are bigger fish to fry than these other little, they're like pests, you know. Leanne Forsberg, it has not been good. The fishing has not been good. I think it was all this weather, barometric pressure on the lake or something. We're going to go out tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to be at Difficult Research tomorrow because Wayne is taking me out on the boat for us to go fishing on my birthday. But I will be back around later in the evening. I'm going to try to cram it all in to try to get with y'all again later in the evening. It's not about any really information. It's more of just decompression, letting out the anxiety of the stupidity of this hooker, knowing that we got to hear her voice to try to see where she's going with all this, but most importantly, getting justice for Charles Vallow. That man deserves our support, the family. We need to support the family and all of that. Thank y'all for the birthday wishes. I think so, Crush. I think the big rain does. It definitely has the water levels moved up and everything, and we've gone to all of our honey holes where we catch them left and right. Y'all know how good old KJ and Mr. Wayne are at catching catfish. We've caught one in the since we went out Friday evening, we went out Saturday, we went out Sunday. We didn't go out today because it was the water level was up again and the wind gusts were too high. So we stayed in, which worked out because I wanted to be there at Difficult Research, the opening statements to see how this hooker was going to operate. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Vicky. Hi, Noah. Oh, y'all are so sweet. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Beach Lady. Tina Marie. Cresha, you know how much I love you and Jason. My door, Wayne and I's door will always be open to y'all. You know it. Anytime. Yes, CSI. I know Cresha said it, but somebody else had said it earlier too on her platform that Kobe's birthday's tomorrow too. That's wild. I never knew that after all these years, y'all. I didn't know that his birthday was on April the 8th. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. You want to hear something else crazy? I have one son whose birthday's October the 19th. Y'all know the significance of that. Tammy Daybell, right? Well, how about this? Try this on for size. March the 4th, which is another one of my son's birthdays. And that was the night that Corey Richens poisoned her husband. Still haven't got the June 8th one yet on my third son, but that's crazy. October 19th and March the 4th. That's crazy. I mean, what's the odds of that, right? Thank you for the birthday wishes. Yes. Can you believe that, Cresha? Tammy's mom died on June the 8th. Wow. Okay. Vicky says my mother's birthday was October 19th. All right now, y'all are spooking me. Don't be spooking me now. I ain't a superstitious person, but that's crazy. Thank you, Calamitous or ORTBO. I don't know how to say that. Thank you so much. I'll be 54 years old, y'all. I'm getting old. Think about it. Think about how old I'm getting. Y'all have been watching me get old these last 5 years. Hi, Mike from Ohio. How are you? I know Wayne's brother Eric said, "Oh, you're just a pup." I said, "Then why am I an old lady?" That's crazy. Yeah, Mike. It's been flooding here in Tennessee a whole lot. We had tornadoes last week. I thank all of those that had put comments on the community while worried about OKJ. Alexander, hockey player, says hi from Sweden. Oh, Buckshot says my oldest son's birthday's October 19th. Wow. So let me just common sense just bring it to this. If there is a religion that believes this Nephi, okay, and Lori's talking about we're going to be like Nephi, her and Alex. How could she possibly believe that? She used it, just as Trina K, she used it to justify what she was doing. If if anyone's like, "Oh, KJ, she really believed this stuff." Well, how can she really believe this stuff when it doesn't work out? You know, like this whole multiple probation thing. She's talking about that she was supposed to come down here and be the queen of the 144,000 and lead, people and all that. And Chad was going to be the king and all this and that. And it was going to be the end of the world at 2020. What? Is she doing what many of the other ones always say? Well, my visions didn't work out because the other person has their own agency, and that's exactly what Chad would say. And Lori, that was her out as well. Mike from Ohio says, I think she's trying too hard with her nonsense because she knows she ain't never getting out ever. She should sit back and take the blame because she's not going anywhere. Well, Mike, Lori so much believes this garbage that she's not going to bring this up in her opening statement. Okay, well, maybe someone say, KJ, she doesn't want to go there. What about her dang interview last Friday? Why didn't she bring up any of that? Why didn't she set that woman straight, or Keith Morrison straight for that fact, if she truly believed that this stuff needed to be done? No, what has she done? She says she's done nothing wrong. She didn't murder anyone. She didn't do any of it. She's completely innocent. Y'all, it's evil. It's diabolical, and it's wrong. Crush, if I had moves like a 19-year-old, I'd probably end up in the hospital with my back being thrown out or a pulled muscle in my leg or something like that. My prayer, y'all, my prayer is that the state can get through this pretty quickly I don't think it's going to take 6 weeks. I don't think it'll end in a week, but I don't think it's going to last a whole 6 weeks. I think Lori her cross examinations are, she said today, well, it's going to take a little while. I guarantee you. I promise you. You heard it from me. When she goes to cross-examine this witness, she told the judge today that this was going to take a while. I guarantee you it won't take any more length of time as her other witnesses. She just needs a break. She needs a break. I guarantee she's back in her jail cell. She's worn to a frazzle. She's wore out. She's hung up wet like Seattle Slew. True evil lies, not sick. And feed her fruit cup every single day, says You know, she said in her interview, y'all, with that woman last Friday, that Arizona true crime, that they eat slop in there. Well, I'll tell you what, if that's true, if Lori, is eating slop there, it's coming out the other end. And I hope that it chaps her ass, all the diarrhea coming out of there. I hope that, it isn't digestible stuff. I hope she has to eat shit on a shingle every damn night. And I hope she has to revisit it at the toilet while she's sitting there trying to convince herself that she's some freaking lowercase g. Calamitous Ortmo says, well, maybe don't kill people and you don't get slop. Well, okay, y'all. I brought up diarrhea. I hope the woman gets it for the rest of her life. I honestly do. Or seriously constipated. I'm talking about she develops hemorrhoids because she has to do what she has to do to get it out. Shema says, I'm a rewatch Horry's opening and count how many times she said that the evidence will show. A great point. Want to take bets on how many times, y'all? What's interesting is there were things when she said the evidence will show that can be proven even through the state, but they're benign things. They're not nothing that's proven her innocence. But there are other things she said the evidence is going to prove this and this and this, that there's no way that she's going to be able to prove it, and I guarantee the state's not going to prove her point. And this whole idea of, that this was all just self-defense and a tragic family thing. Even Krasha pointed it out. Others pointed it out. Did anybody ever hear about Charles and Tylee going through therapy and all of this stuff? And yet Tylee has Charles's passcode? Oh, Tylee and Charles did not get along. Tylee hated Charles. But Charles is going to give Tylee his passcode to his phone? Give me a break. Any person with a freaking brain cell sitting on that jury's going to put 2 and 2 together on that. She didn't know that Charles was recorded on body cam. You think so, JoJo? Is that a fact? After he was murdered and she went in there and sat down and talked to police, she didn't know that Charles had made a record of that? You're kidding. I didn't know that. Scurrilous lies. I just want to know why Lori didn't bring up about her religious beliefs and why Lori didn't bring up about Chad's and hers infidelity. Why didn't she explain in her opening statement what her and Alex being Nephi is all about? I Oh, thank you, Charlotte Bassett. Charlotte Bassett also says she will have a breakdown before this is over. I think she's soaking it all in. She likes the attention. It's the only thing feeding her narcissism right now. That's what I think. Oh, Brody, that's a very positive thing to say. Kobe said last night that Tylee and Charles did get along. I believe him over Lori every time. I believe they may have had normal opposition, but not to the degree Lori is demonizing it to be. Well, she can't have it both ways. She can't say that it's a terrible relationship, but at the same time, Tylee has Charles's passcode from his phone. How does Charles give Tylee the passcode? Somebody explain that to me. That's what she said today in her opening statement. I don't know if she could explain all of that. That would be testifying. She can just ask questions. Right, Pamela? But she's still throwing it out there. She's trying to testify and the state is objecting, and the judge is sustaining that, but it's already in the air. And she's doing that. She's trying to get away with doing that, in my opinion. She ain't that stupid, y'all. Obviously, she is in some little way holding her own, but the way she's holding her own to the jurors is asking questions that really doesn't prove her innocence at all. Asking questions about, did you add on to your report? Did you, things like that, obviously need to be asked, but those are the only things she's not getting. I'm not getting from her with her questioning where she's trying to go with it. That's trying to prove her innocence. It's like questions that really has no bearing on her guilt or innocence, really. Charles was out on his first date with Nancy Joe the night before he was killed. Did I hear that right? Yes, that's what Trina K said, Shema. Um, but Lori makes it out to be that everything was okay. In her opening statement, um, Charles just lived in Texas and she lived in Arizona, and she had helped Charles get this insurance, and she doesn't ever say that her and Charles was headed for divorce or that they were not. The only thing that I do recall is she talks about, how the phone was, she had his phone, but at the same time, when they wanted her to bring the phone back, she told the police that this phone was car. She doesn't tell them she had it in the house ambushing his ass. She just tells the police that it was, she does in the interview at some point, but then when that was after she had to bring the phone back to them. So let me just get this straight. When she got it in the interview after Charles was murdered, she told the lady in the interview that she had his phone and she wasn't going to give it up and she wasn't going to give it to him. She was keeping his phone from him. But then when she left there and they realized they didn't have Charles's phone, they met her back over there, I think at Alex's house, and she said, oh, it was in his car. So, again, why would she need to drive his rental car? I'm telling y'all that right there, if that answer was, if I could get a truthful explanation out of that, that means something to me. Yeah, right. CSI. Charles is going to give Tylee the passcode. Number one, Tylee doesn't like Charles, so why would she want his passcode anyway? But if you want to look at it like Charles was trying to be nice, why would Charles want Tylee to have his passcode? His 16-year-old stepdaughter. This was Lori's way of distancing herself from being the one that got into Charles's phone. She had his passcode. She had his passcode. Big Tech says smoke and mirrors. Charles pulled JJ out of school because Lori flew the coop for 72 days. She's blaming Charles's reaction based off the shit she pulled constantly. Right. It's that mirror stuff. She's always accusing others of what she does herself. And, she really hated Tylee. Think of everything she's blamed Tylee for. Her own daughter. How in the hell can she sit up there in front of a jury and when she's talking about Tylee get emotional? Like what? What? You've already accused your daughter of murdering or at least killing JJ and then killing herself. Is that going to come into this trial? Is the state of Arizona going to prove to the jury that Lori's full of shit about Tylee doing anything? Tylee was absolutely verbally, mentally, emotionally abused by her mother. Planting false memories into that little girl's mind, knowing she destroyed Tylee before Tylee even grew up. No wonder Tylee developed pancreatitis. And don't tell me that things like that can't develop from stress and anxiety, because any medical condition can. So Lori creates, in my opinion, this pancreatitis because of the way she treated her daughter, lying to her, making her think she was a victim of molestation and all of that, making Tylee feel dirty or whatever. Then she wants to strap on to Tylee for Tylee to lie about Charles wanting to hurt them or push Tylee down. Charles Vallow didn't have to do that. Charles Vallow was there to pick up JJ. He wanted his phone. I'm sure she used it as bait. But he would not have ever done nothing to hurt Tylee or JJ. If he could have got out the door, he would have. But Alex and Lori, as far as I'm concerned, shot him dead. Was it just me that noticed Lori has a different, softer tone when she mentions Alex? My brother, etc. It's the same manipulation when she uses my husband, etc. So gross. Oh, yeah. What? She wants the jury to think she loved Alex? She wouldn't even go to his funeral. She used him. She used him to get her way just like she used everyone else. Alex had done time for her in jail over Joe Ryan before. Lori didn't care. All she wanted to do was be with that little itty bitty gherkin so she could convince Chad that this little itty bitty gherkin that Chad had was as big as a smoked sausage, but it wasn't. She wanted to be with Chad. And Alex knew. Alex knew that because he had a sick fascination with his sister, as far as I'm concerned. Alex was one slice of bread short of loaf, and he had to be with Lori. And the bottom line is she got rid of him too. And if for nothing else, if you didn't want to believe that, she wanted to get rid of him when she allowed Chad to give him his blessing, talking about, okay, Alex, you can go off with the Zulema now. Basically, he should have been saying, Alex, it's over. You done what we wanted you to do, but now me and Lori wants to be alone on our yoga mats to bump uglies. T-Claw Addict says Alex was a full-blown weirdo. Huh. Now that I know she poisoned Charles, I'm convinced now she causes Tylee's illnesses. Very could have been. I don't put nothing past a serial killer, y'all. Nothing past her at all. If she could get a hold of the money or get out of her own responsibilities in anything, she would do it. For her to tell that dang reporter in Arizona True Crime that she loved her children, oh yeah, right. She don't know what love is. All she knows about, and if you'll go back and listen to the opening statements or listen to that interview, all the word because she's a narcissistic, demon-possessed hooker. Hooker. Everyone she touches, she destroys them, says Vicky McNutt. Evidence shows all of my witnesses are dead and I'm the only one being charged. How tragic. Yeah, can you believe that? Can you believe? And you know, she said that right out of her mouth. And she hated it. She absolutely hated it when she tried to talk to one of those witnesses about what Alex said. And Trina K had to object that that's hearsay. They had already ruled she could not say anything about what Alex said. And that burned her biscuits. That burned her biscuits. Kobe's interview with HTC was so freaking awesome. I recommend everyone watch it. And y'all know I don't usually promote the channel except when it adds great value to the conversation. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all. Cresha's the most unselfish person I've ever met. She has done a lot for a lot of people. And I'm just going to tell y'all this, and y'all can take it for whatever you want. Those people haven't done anything back. Kresh has stood on her own 2 feet, and she's the one that has built up her channel and done the right thing. So, and she's done for others without expecting anything in return. But you would think that these people, I'm not gonna, I should probably should stay out of it. Y'all don't want me to go there. I'm not going to. Because Kresha can handle her own self, and she knows that. Harley62 says, hello, my beautiful beach bum. Y'all, I hope y'all got to enjoy that skit. For those that it buffered on, I apologize. I even put my some thing here where her eyebrow was crooked. I wore the red glasses. I hope it's on there, but if it's not, I apologize. I can't redo it. Okay, Jay, these are impromptu. They're satirical nonsense. It's just the way it is. But it's all for the raise. Always. I can't believe y'all can't get that. Is it really buffering? Some of y'all said y'all watched it just fine. Yeah. Well, Krisha, that shows you've got a good head on your shoulders. You'll go where the content is to where you can fill in the blanks and understand things better. And that's always important. You're always willing to listen to people and hear them out. Raise. It was about 18 minutes, I think. I'm pretty sure. I think of 1 or 2 minutes at the end, I was like, damn, somebody said that it wasn't working, it was buffering. And then others said they watched the whole thing. Oh, goodness. I'll get back to it. I'm going to try to do a skit every day, y'all. And yes, it's going to be of the hooker. Because I just can't help but make fun of her. And I wish she could watch all the skits I've ever done about her to show how much freaking shit shows what she is. She thinks people take her seriously. She wants to tell this woman on this interview, I don't know what people are saying. I sure wish she did. She'd know how much of a freaking freak show she is. Love you too, Kresha. Oh. Y'all are the best. Thank y'all for being here. Leave your comments. I hope I was able to decompress or filter through any of today's crap. Sometimes you just need that. I don't know if that helped you or not, but it sure as hell helped me. I love you all. I hope y'all have a great rest of the evening. And again, keep supporting Kresha. That's what's most important. Donna, you're doing great. All of y'all. I love you all. You know I do. And keep on looking.